Hello and welcome to my channel Close to the Edge, where I talk about all things prog rock, classic rock, heavy rock, and maybe, just maybe, a stick of rock. And we have on my channel tonight the great Scot Lade from Ohio from the Prog Corner. Scott, welcome to Close to the Edge.
Pat, thanks for having me on. This is awesome. I'm wearing my Close to the Edge gear in your honor, even though I don't think we're necessarily talking about Close to the Edge today, are we, sir?
No. And the reason why I asked Scott on is because of this album. Tales from Topographic Oceans. And the question I'm asking is, why does Scott think this is the greatest album of all time, basically? Topographic Oceans.
It's pretty simple, right? I mean, music works, especially prog rock, and I don't mean to sound like the elitist guy, that, those of us that enjoy prog rock are smarter or enjoy music more. We enjoy music differently. I think we can all agree with that the prog rock fan hears music just differently than everybody else. So I was just talking to my wife about this, and it's like, you know what? My brain tells me that Close to the Edge is the greatest album of all time. It really does. It's absolutely flawless. There's not one note I would change. I love Alan, but Bill Bruford, come on now. But there's something about Tales. It does something, not to my brain necessarily, but somehow it does something here.
That's something funny. I know what you're saying.
It hits me in a foundational way, in a fundamental way, in a primordial way, right? In a real primitive way. There's just something about, whatever kind of spiritual trip John Anderson was on, I was right there with him, man.
Every single thing about
yeah, I was right there
with him.
Yes. And
we'll kick it off with the very first track, though, Scott. The Revealing Science of God. What do you think of that first track? What did you think of it when you heard it first?
Yeah, you see, my first impression of Tales as a whole was not good. It was the last of the pre-hiatus Yes albums that I was able to acquire because it was a double album and I was a little kid and it cost more than the other ones. So I got it last. I heard Relayer before it. I heard Close to the Edge, Fragile, etc. And I finally got the lunch money together to buy Tales, and I loved side one. I loved The Revealing Science of God, which is parenthetically the Dance of Dawn, right? I loved everything about that track.
Fun,
I think it's absolutely amazing. I think it's stunning. But I can honestly say I did not feel that same way about sides 2, 3, or 4. But yeah, I think side 1 is easily the most accessible. It's the one that's it's hookier, right? It's got the cool chant that starts it all off. And then you've got that real killer hook in B major. It's just amazing. And I absolutely love the way it begins. It was intended to start with all that background noise. A la Close to the Edge, where you have the nature sounds. There was a similar intro, which I'm glad they chopped it off, actually. Have you heard the extended version, Pat?
I have, yeah. It's on this.
Yeah. What do you think of having like that 2 minutes of
2 minutes at the start? No, I actually prefer it on the LP.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do. I don't think that it was too like Close to the Edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's on. If anyone wants, this is the Rhino remastered CD. And when I heard this track first, Scott, when I heard the album, but this first track, I actually liked this first track because it's the chanting.
Yeah, I love it. Hey, can you hear the guy mowing my lawn? You hear that? Why is dude mowing my lawn right now? I mean, of all the times, I thought he already mowed my lawn. You can't hear him, okay?
I can't hear him on this end.
Yeah,
but that's what that track draws you in.
Those chants,
and as you said, the Dance of the Dawn. Now I was very young when I heard this album, and when I heard that track, I think it's one of those albums where you turn off the light, sit back, and that track draws you in. And I thought, wow, this is a journey.
Yeah.
They're taking me on a progressive rock journey. You've all the different little bits in it as well. The different little tunes in it. They're all like separate little tunes, all joined together.
Yeah, but it's done so seamlessly, and I think
flows.
I think a lot of people don't like Tales because they feel like some of the connecting tissue between those parts. Rick Wakeman referred to it as padding. He said it was like a padded bra. He was dead wrong. It's in those areas between movements that I find a lot of interest because they used to weave different themes through there and different textures. Rick Wakeman was dead wrong about Tales.
But anyway, that's the first track.
Yeah, a killer. I don't think
that hooks you into the whole concept of the album.
I think even people that don't like this album, I think there's plenty there for side one. Yeah,
first track. Yeah.
And
then side two on the original LP, The Remembering. Now, what do you think when you heard that first? Then, what did you think?
I thought it was slow. I thought it was boring. I kept waiting for something to happen. As a little kid, I would start at like about the 9-minute mark where it starts going with the Don the Cap section. It starts getting a little quicker paced, and then into the relayer section. I skipped the whole first part of the song, man. I swear I didn't like it, but being that I was a huge Yes fan, I was bound and determined. And honestly, Pat, it probably took me a year, maybe 2 years.
You're very young then, though, Scott.
I was 15. I had probably just turned 16 when I got the album.
Okay, so you think about it, young. I can remember when you're that age.
Yeah.
You're exploring everything.
Yeah.
You listen to all different types of genres of music. And this was a difficult listen.
Yeah, it was. And honestly, if Yes were not my favorite band, which they unequivocally were and still are, I would have given up. There is absolutely no way I would have stuck around literally, Pat, 100 listens. It took literally 100 listens for me to finally get that long, excruciating buildup is A, beautifully done, and B, is absolutely necessary to get the payoff. What Pitchfork once referred to about prog rock was we were all waiting for the come to Buddha moment, and when it hits so incredibly hard, but you got to listen to the whole thing, or else it doesn't have the same impact.
You have to listen to the whole thing.
Yeah, you do.
So now in 2025, what do you think of The Remembering now after you're listening to it now nearly 50 years?
Every time I listen to it, I think it's the best song I've ever heard in my life. and I know Close to the Edge and Gates of Delirium, I probably rank them higher overall as Yes epics, but man, oh man, every time I listen to Remembering, I'm like, this is just unique. There's really nothing like it. It's structured in a very bizarre and obtuse way. The payoff is absolutely enormous, and it's just gorgeous. So I love Rick Wakeman's keyboard sounds throughout this. And it's just hard to believe that this was Alan White's first album with the band.
Yes.
I love Bill Bruford with all my heart. He is my favorite drummer of all time. He would not have made Tales a better album. Absolutely not. Alan White was the man for the job, and boy, does he deliver. It's just
a different type of drummer, though, actually, because Bill would have been more of a jazzy influenced drummer. I think Alan's more of a rock drummer.
Yeah.
Heavier drummer.
He is, but you could make a case that as brilliant as Bill is and always will be, again, I rank him number one all-time favorite drummer. Alan was a better live drummer for the band.
Okay.
Alan was just a better live drummer with the band.
Okay,
Now
so
the
when I
guy's
heard
knocking at my door. Hold on.
that's Scott for you.
Oh,
The unique,
that's great. Yeah, no,
the unique Scott. The
that's
unique Scott. And
that's
I
my
say
lawn
that
boy. That's my lawn boy. He's mowing my lawn. I know what he's doing, Pat. He's looking to get paid for that lawn mowing he did earlier today. I'll deal with him later. I saw him out the window. He saw I had the headphones. The dead giveaway is the beads, man.
the beads, your beads.
When you got the beads on, that means you mean nothing but business. And boy, oh boy, the remembering. It has grown into kind of my personal favorite. Yes, epic.
Okay. When I
just
heard
love
it first, after hearing the first side, Scott, I thought, nah, I just couldn't get into that track.
Yeah.
I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't play it for years. I mean, a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm talking now well over. I didn't play it until I got this. And I heard it on the CD for the first time. And they remastered it, and it sounded better than the original LP, which the LP is the original.
Right.
And I love it now.
Oh, good. You're back on board. Oh, awesome.
Oh, I love it now.
It's a challenging piece, though.
It is a challenging piece. And I was only playing it earlier on today. I played the CD. I didn't play the LP. I said I'd play the CD today because I can leave it off. You get me?
Yeah.
First 3 tracks are on the first CD and the last one's on the second CD. You can just leave it off. You don't have to be getting up and down, which sometimes can be a pain. And it is an amazing track. It's different. It's not a close to the edge track, in my opinion, or a Gates. You were just talking about Gates of Delirium, which is my favorite Yes track, but it's totally different in those.
Yeah, it's unique. Nothing like it in the entire Yes catalog, and
no, nothing.
I think that's why. Yeah, that's why I love it so much.
It's totally unique. I agree with you. That's the word I was looking for. Unique.
It was risky, and that was the first one that they yanked because when they toured Tales. They played all 4 sides. And then they played Close to the Edge. And then they did the encore, I guess, was Roundabout and Starship Trooper or something. I don't. Yeah, but, exactly, people were falling asleep. People weren't digging it, man. And I get that,
Yeah, well, you can understand that now in many respects. But now.
So they yanked the Remembering first. That was the first one to go. Get that out of there. People were falling asleep during it, and then they yanked the Ancient as well. I think they kept sides 1 and 4 all the way through the tour, but it was not extremely well received live. And I get that, man. That's that. You think about the audacity of Yes. Late 1973, early 1974. You're riding high, man, close to the edge at number 3 on the Billboard charts. And that followed Fragile and the Yes album, which were also both really, really big hits in the US. You follow up all that success with this thing. I mean, the sheer audacity of John Anderson in particular, to think that this would fly.
Yeah.
His head was so far in the clouds, he thought that audiences around the world were going to understand Tales from Topographic Oceans the first time they heard it live. They just want to, dance and have a good time,
Yeah, but it did sell well at the end anyway. It did sell well. The strange thing it is, before we get on to
it hit number 1 in the UK and number 6 in the US.
That's right. And it was released in December 73 in the UK and January 74 in the US.
Yeah, a month later. Yeah, like 5 weeks.
Yeah, back then. We get on to the second disc, track 1, The Ancient. So what did you think when you heard that first then?
I thought I was of 2 minds. I was really confused with the first half of it. And then the whole beautiful Steve Howe, nylon string, classical guitar, and then morphing into that beautiful Leaves of Green duet between John Anderson and Steve Howe's guitar. Absolutely gorgeous. So I really, really liked the second half. That first half, man, I couldn't wrap my head around it for a long, long time. I'm like, what are we doing here? I think it's really cool now. And again, it probably is, yes, at their most dangerous sounding. and their most like, we just don't care what you think. And I love that. They were just doing exactly what they wanted to. And you don't like it too bad, we're yes.
But I find with that track myself is that the guitar sounds he got on the first part of it are very unusual.
Yeah.
You know, and they're kind of out of sequence, but it's complicated. I found that, but I liked it actually because I thought it was different. And you just have to get your head around it, what he was trying to do. I think it's very complex.
Yeah. And then you combine that with what Alan's doing. Alan's doing some crazy percussive work there. And it actually kind of points the way to the crazy drum section on side 4. Also kind of points the way to the battle section of Gates of Delirium. And this is all the genius of Alan White. He is so underrated in what he meant to Yes.
Brilliant. And you said the acoustic part then with Steve Howe and John, that's my favorite part of the album.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful, if you were to take it separately from the whole album, it's a beautiful piece of music.
Yeah. And they've been playing it when I saw them do Topographic Drama recently, the Steve Howe version of Yes. They did all of sides 1 and 4, and then they just did the Leaves of Green section on side 3. They didn't want to attempt that first half. I don't blame them.
Yeah. Of course, they didn't have John Anderson singing it, though, did they?
No. John Davison does his best, but
he's not John Anderson. He's not.
No. There's only one, and we just pray that one day Steve Howe will just see the light of day. You know what? John Davison, they talk. There's no feud here. People think, oh, John and Steve hate each other. They do not. They don't talk all the time, but they do speak. They're on good terms. Steve just doesn't want John back in the band. It's just that simple.
And his voice is so
weird. It doesn't make any sense. Good.
He's one of the few rock artists. He's 80 years of age. That his voice sounds exactly the same as it did in the 70s. Because you only have to hear him on the Band Geeks. How good his voice is.
I saw him first in 1976, and I haven't seen him. I didn't see the Band Geeks, but I did catch him. Yeah, I did. Yeah, he sounded great. All the YouTube clips, but I saw him with the ARW, Anderson, Rabin, Wakeman, and I walked away saying he sounded better today than he sounded back in the 70s. He knows how to use his voice better. It's just he's incredible. He's a freak of nature.
Yeah, but he looked after himself. You know what I mean? He didn't smoke
That's right. Not too much.
No, not too much. Not too much. And the last track, Scott, Ritual.
Yeah.
What did you think of that when you heard it first?
Yeah, this one I liked right away too. I didn't love it, but at least my first impression of Tales was it should have been a single album and it should have just been sides 1 and 4. That was my initial impression. I really liked I really liked it. But, but I wasn't wrong. It's an incredible track. It's absolutely beautiful. The Nous sommes des soleils part at the end, just some of the most gorgeous, beautiful, heart-rendering. The piano in the background with John at the very end of the album.
Yeah.
That's Alan White. That's not Rick Wakeman. That's Alan White playing the piano back there, man.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Again, his first album with the band making such a major impact. That whole tribal drum section in Ritual.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely amazing. That wouldn't have happened with Bill Bruford in the band. Come on, man. And that was so much fun live. Everybody just, beating on drums and going crazy. Just awesome. Seen them in 76 for the first time, and they did do it. And the Crab Nebula stage, Roger Dean designed stage, and it just really helped bring the whole thing to life. It was amazing. I love the track. I think it's probably the only complaint I have about Tales, and it's a minor one. It's really minor because some of Rick Wakeman's best work is on this album, some of Alan's best work, definitely some of Steve's best work, and I think it's John Anderson's high watermark. But I sometimes feel like there's not enough Chris on this album, right? His imprint isn't felt all the way through it like you really feel it on other Yes albums of this
I know what
time
you're saying.
period.
Yeah, you'd hear the bass all the way through.
Except Ritual. Ritual was the one track where Chris decided, I'm putting my fingerprints all over this thing, and he really does. And as a result, it's a real well-balanced song. It's a great song live. Just enormously great.
I don't have the Stephen Wilson remix. Do you have the Stephen Wilson remix?
I do, sir. Oh, yes.
Yes, I don't have that.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Although, I do have a complaint. Out of all 5 albums that Stephen Wilson remastered, and they are the 5 greatest albums in the history of mankind, by the way. The Yes album, Fragile, Close to the Edge, Tales from Topographic Oceans, and Relayer, all released within a 44-month period, which is absolutely mind-blowing. They did change the album cover a little bit on the Stephen Wilson remaster, and they also added 4 measures. There's 4 extra measures during Chris Squire's bass solo before the triumphant, tribal drum thing. They add a little extra, and it throws me off, man. It just throws me off. It's cool that Stephen Wilson found that,
It's cool, but I was reading.
But it throws me off. I'm like, hey, wait a second, where am I here?
But I was reading that a lot of people think that the Stephen Wilson remix brings up the bass. Now I haven't heard it. Does it bring up the bass?
I love how each one is a little bit different. I find on the Yes album, about the same. On Fragile, a little bit higher. On Close to the Edge, I think he might have actually brought the bass down a little bit from the original Eddie Alford mix. But on Tales and Relayer, oh yeah.
He brought him
Squire.
up.
Squire's definitely higher. And every single one of the Stephen Wilson remixes totally different. He kind of like approached them as completely different animals instead of doing it like as one batch. He attacked each one separately and really helped showcase the different personalities of each of these albums. Just the most glorious period in the history of pre-recorded music, man. 1971 to 1974. Yes. Just unimpeachable, man. Only Genesis could come close to what they achieved.
Okay. I think when I heard Ritual, I love Ritual.
Yeah.
I loved Ritual. And I still love it today. And it even gets better. When you hear it on some of the live albums, it's absolutely like that. You know that bass line they have going through? Doom, 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 doom. That one. Yeah. It's absolutely brilliant, isn't it?
Again,
it's absolutely superb.
That's where Squire really gets to shine, is on Ritual.
He gets to shine on that track.
Yeah.
So there's the 4 tracks, right? Now, you're saying this album is better than the Yes album, Fragile, Close to the Edge, even say Relayer, right?
Well, it's one of those things where there is no best. And again, if you want to take a survey of 1,000 prog rock fans, Close to the Edge is gonna be number 1 on most people's lists, and rightly so. There is not a single moment where you're like, would I do that differently? There's plenty of those moments on Tales where you're questioning the sanity of this band, where you're like,
exactly.
What were they smoking? What was going on there? And that is part of its charm for me personally, why I identify with it.
Love it. Yeah.
I feel that way about myself.
But I find, and I know where you're coming from with Tales. When I heard Close to the Edge first, I loved it. Still love it.
Yeah.
Same with Fragile, same with the Edge. But this one took a lot longer for me to get into. I had a kind of a love-hate relationship with it. Yeah. Loved it 1 minute, hated it the next, or not playing it, or people would be getting on, why are you listening to that? But now every time I play it, I hear something different.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many layers in that album. So many layers. And to be honest with you, I don't think a lot of other prog bands at the time had the balls to do that album.
No, and I think you hit the nail right on the head. Why it really resonates with me is because I know deep down inside that this was a very slender, slim, tiny little window of opportunity for a band who was ginormous. I mean, they were one of the biggest bands in the world as they went into Morgan Studios to record this thing. The audacity, you couldn't do it again with the major label 100% behind you, okaying a double album with 4 songs on it. No. It's commercial suicide. Everybody knew it. But yes, we're so big that Amit Erdogan let them do it. He let them do it. And, it did hit #1 in the UK. It did hit #6 in the US. So the sales were decent. But, I think it really took Relayer to right the ship for a lot of Yes fans because, Tails left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. And I get it, It is not for everybody, but there is something so special about it. It feels like, John Anderson and Steve Howe created this whole musical universe all by themselves late at night when everybody else in the band was sound asleep. They were up late at night by candlelight writing the whole album while on tour, the whole, backstory, how much of that is true. Who knows? But all that matters is at the end of the day, by the time Ritual ends and it just kind of gently fades away and you hear, Wakeman's Mellotron washes fall over you for the final time, I feel something different. I feel like I've been changed.
I know where you're coming from. I know exactly.
I feel like it's moved me in a way that Close to the Edge doesn't, and in a way Fragile doesn't. Fragile is probably the best sounding album I've ever heard. It's right up there with like Steely Dan Asia, right? From just best produced record. People complain about the muddy mix on Tails, right? You even mentioned that you got the CD, the remix, and it was sounding better to you.
Much better. Yeah, much better. They really cleared it up.
It's a weird sounding record. And, even the remixes and even the Steven Wilson, I've heard them all. I've heard every version of it. They all sound weird. It's just a weird album, man. It just is. I mean, Louis Nasser, whom I love from Sonus Umbra and 100 other musical endeavors, including Imaginarium. Have you heard that record?
No, I haven't.
Oh, no. A good record.
I know who Lewis is, yeah.
It's Clive Nolan's new band. Unbelievable. Anyway, he was saying that he thinks Steve Howe's out of tune. He thinks Steve Howe's out of tune throughout most of Tales from Topographic Oceans. And you know what? Whenever you tune a guitar, whenever you have a Mellotron in 1973, whenever you're tuning a bass, whenever you're tuning the snare drum, it's going to be slightly different every single time, right? And sometimes they're slightly flat, slightly sharp. But you know what? To a trained ear like Steve Howe and Eddie Opper, they were going for a particular thing, and they got it, man. They got it. It's a singularity, man. There'll never be another Tales. There will never be a band at the absolute top of their game, peaking, right? To do that, to commit commercial suicide, all in the name for art.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%.
God bless John Anderson. Rick Wakeman, you were dead wrong about Tales. He got so bored that he would be ordering takeout Indian.
That's right, yeah. And that's right. On when they were doing the live shows, I was reading that. He's a funny man anyway. You know what I mean, Rick? He has that kind of, I don't know, that kind of Cockney kind of sense of humor, that English kind of humor, which is...
I love Rick, but
I find it very funny. I find it very funny.
John and Rick were not getting along during the Tales tour. Not even a little bit.
So there we have it. Scot Lade,
the masterpiece that is.
Thinks this is the greatest. And what do you think in the comments? And Scott has a brilliant channel over there in America, in Ohio, the Prog Corner. And I'm going to leave a link.
Thank you, Pat.
I'm going to leave a link in the description below. And I would like all my viewers to go and have a look at his channel. And if you like what you see, subscribe, because he has an awful lot of brilliant content. I'm after being on his show a good few times.
We'll
My
have you
channel
on again soon. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully so. My channel was only a month old. I hadn't even got 100. We got the 100 subscriber while we were live on air. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
and
do.
Scott said, you're after getting 100. So
Okay.
it was the first channel I was on, and he helps every other channel. Every channel. Scott is very good. He'll help you out. And that's what I like about it. Some other channels get too big for their boots. We won't name them. But they do. You know yourself, they do. They get bigger and bigger. They don't want to know. But Scott always wants to know.
It's it's tough. I understand that. To be fair to my fellow YouTube content creators, man, when you start tasting a little bit of money, when you start getting a little bit of money rolling in, man, oh man, it gets you thinking a little bit differently. It just does.
Probably.
It just does. And I'm just a little guy, right? I'm just seeing a little bit trickle in, right?
I'm even smaller.
But it's
penny.
just enough to get you thinking, if I did this or if I did that, or if I steered my channel in this direction and do clickbait week every single week, which I am doing clickbait week in 2 weeks, boys and girls.
Right. You said that the other day on your channel,
It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be calling it the return of the son of clickbait week.
You had the best one of all with Andy Edwards.
Oh, yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah, but that caught me out. I thought it was real.
Oh, we had everybody going. That was
everyone going. But that was brilliant.
I need a new feud. Do you want to have a feud?
We'll have a feud, yeah. We'll have a feud.
I don't know if they'll believe us.
They won't believe us. No,
yeah, they know we're friends.
No, they know. They're after seeing us on your channel. And Scott, as I said, go over there and check out the Prog Corner for absolutely brilliant videos. And one thing Scott does as well, he helps promote new progressive rock bands. He's the only channel I know of that has a live stream every Sunday.
Every single week. We've been doing it almost 2 years now.
Yeah, and at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard. Is that right?
Thank you. 11 a.m. Eastern, which is 4 p.m. British time, right?
Irish time, 4 p.m. Irish, British time,
British Isles.
We don't call it the British Isles. We're in Ireland. We're Republic of Ireland.
That's right. We don't want to. Hey, I didn't say United Kingdom.
No, we don't go there on that one.
Yeah.
Us Irish, get us all rolled up.
Hey, I'm 25% Irish, my friend.
That's right, you are 25%.
That's right. 25% English. I got descendants that were on the Mayflower, so I'm that elitist kind of white privilege guy. 25% Swedish and 25% Norwegian.
And 100% a Tales from Topographic Oceans.
100% Tales. There you go, Pat.
100%.
Hey, well, thank you for having me on. This was a lot of fun. Anytime I have the chance to talk to a friend about the greatest album in the history of mankind and absolute proof that there is a God, because that just didn't happen by accident. There's no way something that impactful, something that amazing did not have divine intervention. Absolutely. John Anderson, Steve Howe were tapping into some kind of higher power, man, because that's just
whatever
not
they were
right.
tapping into,
That's not right. Records shouldn't be that good, man.
Anyway, Scott, thank you very much. And before you go, I just want to say to my viewers, hope you enjoyed that. And if you did, like and subscribe and all that. Whatever you're doing, stay safe. And one thing I always say, Scott, it's nice to be nice. It's always nice to be nice. And from Scot Lade, from the Prog Corner, don't forget his channel now. And from myself, Pat, here on Close to the Edge. Bye for now, and thanks very much for watching. Bye-bye.
See you.